know about myself and how much I did not trust myself, that made me feel unique in a negative way. I don't mean that I am going to be in a victim mode. No. Life is quite a journey on its own, but what nobody talks about is the part where you are suffering in silence. Loneliness is a familiar feeling. Maybe for some it might have lingered for longer than expected, but for some it might have stayed. And yeah, loneliness is subjective, but being alone does not mean you're lonely. Okay, that is the whole point of today's video, and I am just gonna talk. Loneliness can be a very hopeless place, and you might feel sometimes that, oh my god, this is how it is gonna end, this is how it's gonna be for me from now on, and there's no going back, or there's nothing that can change my current situation, or maybe I'm just supposed to feel this lonely throughout my life, and it's just how it is, and yeah, you give up on yourself. So today, let me tell you how and why you need to let go of that misconception, let go of that belief that you cannot change your life, that you cannot take control of your life, that you still have hope, and that you can always restart from wherever you are right at this moment. I'm going to tell you a couple of things that I have started doing or believing that have actually helped me to feel much better about myself and overall increase my confidence and overall help me to be a more positive person and help me to feel good about my own self. Ever since I started believing in myself more, believing that everything that I want is in me, and that one mindset shift, that one change in me has made me less insecure, less hater, and more human. And it has also made me a kinder. And now I am less of a people pleaser, and I am more open minded, more mature. And I feel like I have become a person who now has some values, and now I would never let myself, put myself in a situation where I can be taken advantage of. All of this has come very difficult for me. It has taken years, it has taken a couple of worst experiences for me to have this change and try to learn from my mistakes. But okay, first, let me tell you about myself. I am the way I am because of all the experiences that I've had, all the situations that I have been through, and all of my perspectives, all of my insecurities, all of my guilt, all of my fears, and various circumstances in general. So, because I've gone through such situations, I was able to learn from what I feel were my mistakes. And one thing I believe in is you never make mistakes. And this I tell you because the first time you realize you made a mistake, you did not know that was a mistake. But the second time, you're not making a mistake, you actually know what you're doing. So I feel like nobody actually makes mistakes the second time. The first time is just pure innocence or lack of knowledge, or whatever. This is just something that I tell myself in order to keep myself checked so that I don't go back to my past patterns. Let me tell you about myself. I am a very emotionally unstable person, and by that I mean I am two extremes. I'm either full of love or I am full of hate, and I tend to give a lot of myself very soon, and that is my number one red flag. And that is something I'm also working on, to have boundaries in my life. I tend to give a lot of myself very soon and then feel miserable, huge amounts of misery very soon. And I've realized my worth does not depend on anybody giving me validation. My boundaries cannot be crossed ever by anybody, no matter who they are. And I always need to prioritize myself. And that is just the law of nature, the law of life. That's just how it is supposed to be. And life has taught me all of these lessons in the most hardest way. And life has put me through situations where I had to deal with each and every single emotion by myself on my own, suffer in silence, and all of that I now feel is a blessing in disguise. And I'm so grateful to have had all of these experiences, especially when I was alone, because at first I thought I was feeling like this feeling of this feeling of loneliness. I really wanted to get out of that feeling of loneliness, but later, as I started to feel or experience all of my emotions within myself and give myself the validation that I needed, I understood the importance of being alone, and I understood the beauty of being alone. And I understood that being alone doesn't actually have to make you feel lonely. So, me, I love myself so much, but I also hate myself equally. I was never so open slash vulnerable with my own emotions as much as I feel right now in this moment. And I feel I have finally got to know myself a little more. I understood what I feel good to entertain, and I understood what I don't want to entertain. I understood what I want or what I look for in a person and what I don't want in a person. And that can be a lot of things, and that can be different for every person. But this is just my experience, my life, through my eyes, through my point of view. I am extremely happy when I'm by myself in my own company, but sometimes I am extremely sad going through shit, especially when I'm alone, and I just want to escape that cage of loneliness. I really want to like stop feeling alone, sometimes. I am also a very, very confident person, but at the same time, I am also like very insecure. I don't give a shit what you think about me. I don't care what you judge about my appearance. I don't care about you if you are not being nice to me. But again, I want to know if my hair looks good. I'll ask you 10 times. I want to know if I look fat, and I'll ask you 30 times. And yeah, it just shows how unstable I am, or how much I did not know about myself, and how much I did not trust myself. And I always had to question if I was even worth it, right? I was always questioning my worth in some or the other way. It can either be how I look, or like, yeah, whatever. I was always questioning my worth. And what I realized was not like no one was actually thinking the way I was thinking. No one was actually this extreme the way I was. Nobody would ask their friends if they look fat, or if like their skin was okay, or if the lipstick shade suited them 20 times, 30 times. Nobody would do that. But me, I would ask my friends. If I would call them, I would like video call them, I would send them pictures and ask them many times whether I should post a picture, or whether I can wear this outfit, or whether, if this suits me, or like what else should I do. Because I always needed the validation from others, because I did not trust myself enough to believe in my own choices. This insecurity could come from various sources, but it is in me, and it is okay. You can definitely overcome it. Yes, it was surprising for me to know that people actually think very differently, but again, that made me feel so different. That made me feel unique in a negative way. And that made me fear that I would probably not have many people in my life who can understand me, or like nobody can relate to me because I feel so different from others. I feel, yeah, I never felt like people can actually understand me or people can relate to me because what I was experiencing, I don't think people that I was with experienced it. And when I just sat in silence and thought about all of the situations, when I was thinking, rethinking, overthinking, and doing all of that, I realized that something is so wrong with me. Something is happening to me. Like, oh my god, what is this? What's happening? What's going on in my life? What's going on in my head that I am thinking like this? And I don't see others doing the same. And that actually made me fear um, relationships, fear connecting to people, fear that I'll be rejected. So I started to isolate myself. I would just not talk to people, not make a lot of friends, not participate in certain things, not go to parties, just stick to the people, the 4 5 people that I have in my life. And that was it. That was my world. And all of this made me feel even more hopeless. And I felt lonely because I was isolated. And yes, I did all of that to myself. But now that I have learned what I needed, and now that I've learned how I can overcome my fears, overcome my insecurities, I feel so much better and I feel so much positive and I feel strong even when I'm alone. So during the times where I was like alone, isolated, bed rotting, I would feel like it was really difficult for me to express my emotions, that I was even feeling lonely, that I was isolating myself. I didn't really want to share that with anybody because I also had trust issues, okay? And with me, I want someone to understand me, what I'm feeling, what I'm going through just by looking at me. There are people who get you that way, but yeah, maybe you just haven't met them. I would laugh, but I would laugh for 2 seconds, 3 seconds, and then I would just catch myself laughing, and then I would be like, oh, why am I laughing? It was the same even when I wanted to cry. I would just feel so emotional, so vulnerable, so betrayed sometimes, and my eyes would tear up, but again, I would not cry because I was feeling so disconnected with my emotions. And for some reason, the extremeness slowly vanished, it dissolved, and I started to feel numb. And that numbness was to a point where if, even if I tried to be happy, I would never really feel happy, I would try to enjoy things, but again, I would think to myself, oh, is it really, like, am I really worth it to enjoy this? Um, Always I would doubt myself, I would doubt my worth, I would doubt my existence, and sometimes I would just like, I would just feel like walking out of a room full of people and just crashing into my bed, you know. It was a weird phase for me now that I think about it, but at that time I was just struggling. And trust me when I say this, people around you definitely know slash notice that you are going through something, and trust me, they will not help you. It can be your best friend, but they will not help you. It can be your closest friend, they don't give a fuck. You have to know that, you have to realize that, you have to introspect. And like, there's nothing more that someone is going to do for you, not even therapy. You need to work on yourself, you need to take control of your life, you need to do whatever it takes to give yourself what you deserve. People might call this lost feeling, they might have a name and they might call it a disorder, or they might even label it as my stupidity, but I honestly don't care. I know there are a lot of people going through the same thing, maybe in different versions, but yeah, it is a universal feeling, and it is also a universal thing that you again push yourself, put yourself together and push yourself. What I have felt was that I had no mercy for myself. I did not give the space to myself to feel better, because again, I was feeling so unworthy of a lot of things, and space was also one of them. And I constantly was like doing something or the other. Like, I constantly wanted to keep my mind busy because I don't want to think in my head that I was lonely. I always wanted to do something, and um, which did not involve people. Let me remind you that, which did not involve people. And I always wanted to like do something, just keep myself busy. And yeah, I did not care about myself. I did not have mercy for myself to give myself some grace or some space or some love. And by mercy, I don't mean that I need to pity myself. No. I don't mean that I am going to be in a victim mode. No. I am strong. I am stronger. I have always been strong, and this is my mindset now. And giving yourself space is one of the best things you can do in your life, because that is the beginning of change. And that involves so much strength that once you start doing that, once you start uh, giving yourself some grace, you are going to love yourself so much. So, what I feel is you need to have mercy in order to actually see yourself and feel totally accountable for your own actions and feelings, and give yourself the space to introspect and do better. That is what giving yourself mercy means. And that is a win. That is a win. I don't want to like go into depth and discuss about my past or my traumas or whatever, because everyone goes through that. It's a universal experience. But let me tell you what I actually started doing, what I started believing in, and how I started to connect to myself, how I started to understand myself more, how I learn more about myself, how I am trying to shift my mindset. Faith is so important. So, the first thing I would say is believe in complete faith that God wants you to win. You are born to win, you are born to be a winner. I believe that I am always winning. If not right now, it's gonna come to me very soon. The win is mine. The victory is mine. I am winning always. This has boosted my confidence in so many levels, and I don't even care if I lose something. I don't even care if I lose an opportunity, because I know for sure that something great is mine already. And which takes me to the second point, which is rejection is protection. And life has taught me this amazing lesson in so many different ways, and now I have finally learned it. And thank you so much for that I finally learned it, because I do not have the space or the patience to learn it again. Oh my god. So the third thing is love yourself so much and enough that you walk out of any situation or leave anybody who do not serve you. The most loving thing that you can do for yourself ever is walking out, is letting go. Just leave it. If something is not meant for you, if you have to struggle to keep something or somebody, just leave it. It's not yours, it's not meant for you. Something great is coming your way. Please be patient, have faith. The fourth point is heal your inner child. When you're almost 25 or 25 plus, you will start to understand the meaning of healing the inner child and why it is so important, why people have stressed it, and why you need to do things that make you happy. Healing your inner child firstly involves identifying what your inner child wants that will make your inner child happy. It can be either like singing, dancing, painting, going for a walk, doing gym, whatever it is, cooking, eating, sleeping, watching TV, whatever it is. Try to feel as safe as possible. Don't put yourself in situations where you know you never want to be in. Don't put yourself in situations where you feel vulnerable and also you feel like that vulnerability can be misused, that vulnerability can be abused. Don't do that. Make a conscious decision to never let your guard down, because people are miserable. People will take advantage of you. People will completely shatter you and walk away like they never knew you. People will use you, use your goodness, use your kindness, and use your own goodness against you. So don't do that. Don't let people who cannot value your vulnerability know about your vulnerability. Don't let that happen. So heal your inner child so that you can have better boundaries. You can stand strong on what you want and not be a people pleaser and let your guard down just because somebody's being nice to you. Heal yourself, get some hobbies, do what you love, be happy. The fifth thing is make time for yourself. Try to feel as relaxed as possible. Try to feel as stress free as possible. Burnout is real, especially if you are somebody who is ambitious, who is working, or who has a lot of responsibilities in general in life, whether it can be family, career, whatever, health, whatever. You need to give time for yourself. You need to relax. You need to be stress free, because the more you relax, the more you can align your thoughts, and the more you can control yourself. You can control your head, you can control your heart, you can protect your soul. Okay, the more you can think straight, the more you can think out of desperation. And by that I mean you can distinguish between your desperation, your needs, and what is right and what you actually deserve. Okay, but try to relax, because that is the most important thing. I've understood the importance of feeling relaxed, not feeling burned out all of the time, because when I think about myself, I know for a fact that I was going through sleepless nights, and I never wanted to like stay in my bed, because I had this FOMO that I'm not doing enough for myself, or I need to do so many things. I need to like please so many people. I need to meet her, meet him, go for a walk, go to gym, all of that. But honestly, relax. Give yourself the space you deserve. If you are feeling lonely, this these are the 5 things that I would suggest you to do. All of these things that I just spoke about have helped me, and all of these are my perspective. So do as you wish. If you like this video, thank you. And yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you guys soon in my next video. Bye.